So in this question, we want to talk specifically about the 3 previous forums in which both you and your opponent have spoken about the Sheriff's Department's progress into the 21st century and its leadership role within the law enforcement community. And as this forum has progressed, a significant number of our membership have expressed concerns to us about continuing this progress and remaining the lead agency in the county during these difficult economic times. The areas that have specifically come up in the majority have been regarding critical computer systems, patrol vehicle replacement and maintenance, modern uniform requirements, and personal safety equipment such as firearms, as well as a specialized training that's related to most of those areas. What is your plan to address these concerns in this difficult time?
Well, you know, we all know that we're in difficult times, and I've been, you know, one of the department heads that has been on all of the internal budget committees for the county. You know, I was one of the people that they called upon to talk to the department heads that we're in difficult times. Everybody has to take their fair share, which was a bottom line 5%. And so the larger departments convinced all of the other departments that that was the baseline, and we couldn't backdoor each other because that would affect all of us. You know, we are set on a path, and we have, you know, money in our trust account, which we will use to continue to upgrade our computer. Like, we know the CAD system is going to need replacement. We know that MDTs are going to be replaced, and we sort of prepared for that into the future. In terms of the firearms thing, I've not heard that as an issue, you know, but I think we're prepared. I believe we have the money to continue our progress. I can tell you in the community, we're looked at as the leaders, not only in technology and equipment and training, you know, but we're looked at as the most professional, the most responsive. I can't tell you the number of people who have said to me, I wish you provided service in my city and where I live because you're professional and responsive. Whenever we do citizen surveys, the ones that we've done, you know, we come out in the 80s and 90s for responsiveness, for handling problems, for professionalism. The last survey that the county did, we were the highest. We had the highest rating, even beat the fire department, which is kind of unusual. But you know, I'm committed. I'm prepared to keep us going. In the whole budget situation, you know, I have a commitment from at least 3 board members that they're not going to cut into our core services. Which, as I told all the people 2 weeks ago when we met about the 20% thing who was on the list, that you know you're all going to be here, you know, and that's based on not only the relationships I've developed with the board, but also the relationship that the Deputy Sheriff's Association has developed with individual board members. You know, I'm committed to keeping us professional. I'm committed to keep going what we've got going. You know, the culture in our organization, and it's a tribute to not just me, but all of us in the organization, how we're viewed in the community and how we're viewed by the county family.
Sheriff, you mentioned the trust fund, and I think it might be important for our members to understand. I know, for example, with regard to the tasers, which was a particularly important piece of equipment that we all felt was important for us to have, and you agreed with that. The county, I don't know if they would have purchased that if the onus has been upon them. Maybe you could talk about the trust fund in relationship to that kind of purchase.
Well, we have a trust fund, and we get money from the state, and we get roughly $500,000 a year in Smallville County, which I'll talk about how that started. And so we have a trust fund, and I think, Tim, we have about $1.5 million. And I always have a joke with the board and the CEO because every time they ask me to take money out of the trust fund, I said, you must think I have $50 million in the thing. But anyway, it's money that we can use on any frontline law enforcement, and it's money that's controlled by the sheriff. And he's right. The county would have never, ever purchased tasers. They probably never, ever would have replaced the records management system. I mean, they spent $20 million on a boondoggle accounting system, and we were stuck, you know. Anyway, so we control that, and that's sort of like funny money that we use to do things that the county and the board is never going to approve. Now, fortunately, it's a steady stream of money because it's in the VLF, and it's vehicle license fund, so we get a stipend every year, along with cops and Talmed and some other stimulus money. And so that's what we use to do the things, like taser, because as you said, the county would never do it. You mentioned, Mark, something about vehicles. Vehicles are are part of our vehicle replacement, which we pay so much a month per car, and then we pay maintenance costs and things like that. You know, the county, I mean, I have a great relationship with Public Works so far. I'm Suri, who's the Public Works Director, who's a friend, and we've managed to, you know, keep that going and keep, you know, that steady stream of new vehicles. And I mean, I've told the association, and if there's any problems with that, you know, I know where to go that we could correct that.
And I'd like to take that one step further, because I've been here for 21 years, and I know when I started here, there was no trust fund. So can you talk a little bit about how that started?
Well, the trust fund started primarily from, you know, like asset forfeiture, federal and state, and the way the laws were designed, they were designed to take out the politicians and the policymakers, and it was designed for chief executives and law enforcement to control that. And so we get, you know, the asset forfeiture. We also get the $500,000 a year. We get the COPS funding, and that's all for frontline law enforcement. So the county can't. I mean, they suggest that we use it for a variety of things, but it has to be used for frontline law enforcement, and we've always done that. We've tried not to use it. I mean, we've had to buy down, you know, a couple of years ago when we took some cuts, we bought down a position in the task force, and to keep the task force going and the county happy with their participation, we threw $100,000 a year or something like that towards that. So we've used that not so much for positions, but to keep positions. And so, you know, we'll continue to use it in that way as the betterment, because you never know what's going to end, and you don't want to, you know, commit to having positions, and then in 2 years, a new governor comes in and says, I'm not going to sign the legislation, so there's no more BLF. And it's really interesting how that happened. You know, originally it was designed for small rural counties, and I don't know what you think of him. John Burton was our senator. He was kind of a goofball, but he liked me, and so he added suburban counties, and so that's how Marin got into it, much to the chagrin of my colleagues, thinking, you know, Marin County is one of the wealthiest counties in the United States, but Marin County is getting $500,000. So you know, our expectation that it will continue, and we'll continue to use it for things that better, you know, our organizations.